Good evening. Tonight we are going to do something a little bit different. We're maybe going to cover some news stories. How's that for a video calling show? Stay with us. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the Video Calling Show, that show that invites you to be a live video guest on this program to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Could be the topic of the day, it could be a personal promotion, it could be current events, which is something we're going to try tonight, and it could also be just to chew the fat. Joining is real easy. All you've got to do is point your browser to zoom.us, click on Join a Meeting, and enter in that meeting number when it asks for it. You will show up in my green room, and I will bring you up. One by one, first come, first serve, as time allows. I'll be here for about the next hour. By the way, my name is Jim. I am the host of the Video Calling Show, and my job is to listen and learn to and about you. Thanks for joining us, folks. Tonight, I thought we'd try something a little bit different. Now, the reason I've decided to do this is twofold. I think I'll only go into one of those reasons, and that reason is there are only so many times I can ask you what song influenced you the most. Plug for Tuesday night's show. But also thought it'd be cool at least one time a week to kind of rush over some topical stories, some current events. And tonight is the first of that series, if you'd like to call it a series. Now, I'm not going to get too in depth. I'm not going to, my goal here is not to argue with people about news stories. My goal is to get their impressions, their thoughts, their input on how they think that story has fallen out, what they think of the story, and what they think the repercussions might be going down the road. Having said that, I'm going to stay true to my word and kind of step back a little bit and not I try to make it as non-political as possible. I mean, the idea here is I don't want to elicit arguments. I just want to discuss, what it is that interests you. Not only that, but that gives people a reason. Like, this show is all about giving people a reason to come on and state their opinion, discuss topics, preferably the ones I've chosen. And not only that, but I usually end up cutting those into what I call guest cuts for people to use on their own social media platforms. I actually, yeah, I know it was balanced, and for some reason it's not now, Scott. But hey, we're always trying here. We're always trying new and different things. We are broadcasting live on 4 different platforms as we speak. That would be, of course, YouTube. That is the home base, I would call it, since I've been broadcasting on YouTube for nearly a year now. And we are also on Twitch. We are also on DLive, and we are on Facebook, my personal account, actually. So any one of you watching from those platforms, welcome. Thanks for being here. And all of you, make sure that if this is content that floats your boat, now's the time to follow. Now's the time to subscribe. Now's the time to share this out to your tribe or an anonymous tribe, say like a Reddit. I don't care. The more we have in here, the merrier. And because I appreciate everyone that shows up. I've got a great community here, at least on YouTube, and I want to grow that. If you folks are watching this on another platform and you have a YouTube channel, by all means, swing on over and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you ring that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. I am on every Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we go over subjects of all varieties. Like I said, been doing this almost a year. December is when I started last year, so we are coming up on that annual anniversary. All right, so what I said was, and by the way, stack up, folks, jump on, call in, hang out in the green room. You can still watch the show as it goes on. And and I'll bring it up when it's time. You don't even have to talk about the news stories necessarily. If you've got something to say, something to promote, jump on. It's fine with me. All right, having said that, I promised a couple stories. Now, I actually had another one in mind, and I don't know if you noticed the early notifications might have told you that I was going to talk about the the Ukraine call whistleblower. I decided to back off on that just because of the exact reasons I just stated earlier. I don't really want to get political, and it's my show, so I'm not going to. That always causes arguments. Today's political environment is such that people put politics before personality. And that to me is a grave mistake. But hey, you know, it's the times we live in. I hope that changes. We'll just have to see. So tonight, the two stories that I had picked out was one is the iPhone 11. Most of you are familiar with this. This is Apple's latest phone. Now, the reason this came up to me is because just yesterday I came across a video that was rather critical of the latest iPhone. And I'll tell you why it was very critical of it. It was actually from CNBC. And just so you know, these news stories that I get, I try to find the most impartial source I possibly can. This is a rather benign story, so it doesn't have to, there's really no bias you can throw in there unless you're an iPhone fanboy or an Android fanboy. But it's totally difficult. In fact, I'm going to have an entire show based on where do you find your news. I've had one earlier, but it was well before I had people in the chat and whatnot. So I'm going to do another one of those. I'm really interested to know where you folks consume most of your news. Some folks don't even consume news. So hell, even I'm thinking of cutting the cord here soon. And but anyway, getting back to the story. The article was is actually a video, and well, let's just do it this way, shall we? Now the video, like I said, is from CNBC, and they're talking about how the iPhone 11 is Apple's least innovative iPhone yet. And now let's be clear, Apple has been a trailblazer for years, in and out of trailblazing. I'll say, I mean, the early PC wars, and when I say PC, it's personal computer wars, Apple had hands down. They made the same mistake Sony did. They remained remained proprietary. They didn't lease the construction of their PCs to other folks, and they almost died because of it, just like the Betamax. Now, IBM leased it to several different manufacturers, and that's why you saw the market flooded in the early days, and I mean flooded. And that's also why you saw the price come down on PCs and not, or I should say, IBM clones and not Apple. Well, Apple has been in that seat before. They came out with, of course, the Apple II, and then of course the iPhone, or I should say the iPod, which was huge, had a bunch of followers on that. They had arguably are credited with the invention of or I should say the smartphone as we recognize it today. But problem is they've done the same thing. Everything's proprietary. A lot of features they build in are I should say designed obsolescence, which means they're only going to last for a few years because we want you to buy a new one in the year or two, next year or two. I think that's a grave mistake. But, who am I? I don't run Apple. Well, the iPhone 11 Pro and Max and, all variations, they're really pushing the camera. They figured out that based on consumer reviews, cameras turned out to be like the fifth largest want and need, good camera in a smartphone. So Apple said, all right, let's go with 3 different lenses. Well, that would be cool if Samsung hadn't done that. I believe it was in 2015, 4 years ago. And not only that, but they also went with the weather resistant model. And of course, Samsung did that as well. So they're kind of playing catch up at this moment. What do you guys think? Would you consider yourselves, Apple devotees, or would you say, I'm more of a Steve. Hang on just a minute. Or are you more of an Android sort of folk? And how do you feel about that particular story? Now, the second one is more on the world stage. And I know you've all heard about this. This is the Hong Kong protests. Now, what you may not know about the those particular protests, it was in June. Now, this all came about, of course, when the British relinquished control based on an agreement that they had for years, gave Hong Kong back to China. And of course, now China they allowed them to remain somewhat sovereign for several years thereafter. But as you can see, in June, the protests began over a controversial proposed law. Now suspended, of course, but they would have allowed the extradition of residents to countries around the world. I'm reading this straight from this article, and it's from CNET. I, again, tried to jump off, the bias train. You'll rarely see me pull up a news story from either what we consider a very biased news source, and that would be an MSNBC. Most of the alphabets I try to stay away from. Not going to see one from Fox News or Breitbart or anything like that. I'm trying to find these stories and corroborate them with other stories. Or not corroborate, but at least compare, so that we're not, stuck in that sort of rut. So, having said that, that law would have, people of Hong Kong feared that the Chinese government would apprehend people in Hong Kong, send them to mainland China to be subjected to a far stricter legal system. I think we can all agree that it is far stricter than what they have in Hong Kong, which is modeled after Western judicial systems. And it also turned into demands for democracy, because I don't believe that survived the previous occupation. Well, why this is a big deal for us in the U.S. is because many corporations have deep ties to China, financial ties. And we've already seen a slew of them give up their, I wouldn't say relinquish their free speech rights, but they certainly bend to the will of the Chinese. In fact, Nike, let's see, we've got a couple examples. It was Nike and another one that escapes my mind off the top of my head. But here, this one in particular, Blizzard, which is a electronic game, a computer game company, literally punished, for lack of a better term, one of their highest or most talented gamers, right? And they said that it violated the competition's official rules, and he was removed from the Grandmasters tournament because he actually tweeted out it was in right here, a broadcast, right, where he said that he used the phrase "Hong Kong protesters, liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our age," and that said that it violated their competition's fair rules. Now, this has also happened with a couple of NBA folks, an owner, I believe, and I believe a player as well. At first, the NBA cracked down, and then they backtracked on that quite a bit. There's a lot of pressure from a lot of political pressure, a lot of pressure from their fans. Fans were showing up at games wearing support Hong Kong and that sort of thing. And they finally said, okay, all right, that's fine. Even though China is cracking down, see what China's trying to do is they're trying to keep this under wraps. They don't want a whole lot of press for this, because being the sort of regime that they are, a regime that has reportedly killed millions of its own people and has millions still as political prisoners in camps. Tons of human rights violations. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to make sure that this doesn't become an issue worldwide, and of course that blew up in their face. But I really have no respect whatsoever for any corporation that would put the dollar above the free expression and basically freedom of an entire people. and that would be Hong Kong. Because as we know, China is not free. So bad move on their part. Good move on the NBA's part. They've been retaliating, and it's hurting them financially. They're actually losing some games that were scheduled to be in Beijing and that sort of thing. So I want to know how you guys see this whole Hong Kong protest debacle as it relates to, well, in any capacity, but specifically, I'd like to know how you feel about it as it relates to some of our U.S.-based corporations bending over to appease what they see as a money stream, a revenue stream. All right, so let's do this. I'm not going to talk anymore. Look, almost a perfect 15 minutes. That never happens. Oh, and I do want to say hello to everybody. Let me do that before we bring up our first guest. We have Crap, my dad makes me watch. How you doing, Adam? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Brad, Drone Kings and Darwin. Sorry this news doesn't relate to you, but I know you can probably well, no, I guess it would down under. Jesse Mendez, good to see you, my friend. Welcome back to the show. Outdoorsy Gallo, always a pleasure to see you. Scott Victor, good seeing you, bud. It's been a while since I've seen you around. Have I missed anyone? I always miss someone. Emmanuel Goffey, how you doing? Now, why in participants would it not show me all the participants? That's ridiculous. Now, for those of you watching on the other platforms outside of YouTube, I'm actually watching the YouTube chat, and I will get to the other chat streams and see if that is working with Restream. But funny, when I go to participants, not everyone shows up. Pixelpia Teaching and Learning, how are you? Welcome back to the show. Patty Broussard, Ray Artist, always a pleasure to have you. Next up, how you doing, Mo? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Oh, yeah, it's been one heck of an adventure. It has, Scott. It really has. Let's see. Viewed this. How you doing, Tony? Good to see you, man. Fake news. I wish it were fake news, but maybe the phone was fake news. Tell me all about that. Catherine Cook, how are you? Good to see you. Let's see. That's awesome. I didn't expect to see fake news in there so fast. Ulrich and Brenda, Canada, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome back to the show. And Chris Hope, hello to you, my friend. Hope this evening finds you well. Now let's go to the other side. Steve, how are you? That's Steve W. Coming over from Facebook. Had not heard of the Hong Kong protest. Wow. Yeah, you need to check that out, Steve. It's really important for a large subset of people, but it's important to us as well because it's a fight for freedom. So, piss on Apple. He says, let's talk camping. Now, I should let you know that he is a brother of my brother-in-law. How does that work? Thanks for joining us, Steve. It's good to have you, man, and everyone else watching on Facebook. And like I said, it's my personal page, and I only started doing this about 2 shows ago, so this is new territory for me. All right, without further ado, let me rather, let's call up. I don't even think. Yes, he has. Awesome. Now this might be a first in video call-in show history. Oh, look, I still have his name in there. What do you know? Let me admit you. Oops. Hello. How are you? Just give me a second here, bud. Just.
Well, don't worry, I need the same thing.
You did what?
I said I need the same thing. A second. I was gonna try to set up a backdrop here with my computer and then turn around because, well, there went my face. Where'd my face go?
Where did your face go?
Okay, here. I'm having monitor problems, so it's not giving me.
That's okay. I have a Scepter monitor over here, and it's giving me fits as well. I'm about ready to send it back. So it's steady
this
right now.
This monitor is totally going out on me because I was trying to get my backdrop up, which is like, I'll try to see if I can't pull it up here. Oh crap! Now where did it go? I'll try to see if I can't flip. I was trying to pull this up if I can find it again.
What were we looking for?
Oh my, the backdrop that I was trying to.
Oh, the backdrop. I thought you said fact drop. Like you're going to drop some facts on us.
Okay.
You're dying to get that behind you, aren't you? You may need some light behind you because it's awfully dark behind you.
I have no way to get light behind me. If I put any light behind, if I turn on the light back there, it's going to be really interesting.
Outdoorsy Gal, oh, you are absolutely right, Chrissy. It would be great if people I invited on Facebook would watch and show up here. Absolutely.
I was trying to get.
Well, you know the link. It's literally facebook.com. How does that work?
Trying to get this up here.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm just yammering with the chat. Hope you don't mind.
All right.
Yeah, it's literally youtube.com/videocallin show, all one word, Chrissy, if you wanted to throw them that. Hello, Gunna, how are you? Here, I'll just throw that in the chat for you. Bam.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my back. Sure. I'm gonna turn on my backlight because if I don't, there's gonna be some nice blue strobe lights here in a second because we have a thunderstorm. So.
Oh yes.
Let's turn that back on. We'll just do this way.
Well, Easton, how are you tonight, man?
I am good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. That's 3 nights in a row, you know. And this time I do have guests in the wings. So let's talk, man. What do you want to talk about the news stories at hand, or do you have another news story? You got something else you'd like to talk about?
Well, first of all, I would like to talk. I came on at first. I was going to come on and talk about a new idea that I had, but I won't see my on there. Actually, I will talk about that instead of ranting about my computer. I was going to rant about my computer for a couple minutes and then get off because its monitor is going out on me, and it's a brand new monitor. It's going black on me randomly. So
yeah, tell me about it. That's exactly the same thing this one's doing. It's ticking me off.
It's so annoying. It's just like it did it like 2 minutes before the show started. Whole screen went black.
Yep.
Like, oh, thanks.
Story of my life, man.
Yeah. This is related to news. So I came up with an idea earlier today before I even knew what the topic of the night was.
What's that?
To do something on my channel. Try to do it once a week, where it's like a Christian news kind of video. Because I don't know if you know, the word gospel means good news. So it literally, the show would be something like the gospel or something like that would be the show. It's just good news in the ministry world. Talking about like new singles that people are releasing or what things the different music ministries or any ministry is doing. So that's something. Cool. Fingers crossed, I'll be able to upload eventually.
Well, I think that's a good idea. I mean, the one thing everyone has over this show is that they get to pick a niche, right? And that niche is something that they can capitalize on, right? Keywords, tags, which you know how I feel about tags. I'm not the biggest fan of tags because I just know they're going away. I absolutely know that they're being monitored to find spammers more so than to help people find content. That's just how search engines work. That's how they worked for the last 20 years. So, what was I going to say about that? Oh, but it gives them a chance to concentrate on something specific, and it helps YouTube or any other sort of streaming service or video repository know how to categorize that content. So that's a good thing for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I was just like laying in bed because I've actually got a binder over here. It's I was just like writing some stuff down because I'm trying to write a book for the 13th millionth time. I've been trying ever since I was like in first grade. I've always wanted to be. Oh crap! That was bad. About to drop a stool over on my computer.
No, you don't want to do that.
It's like a kitchen stool. I knocked it over into the computer desk, and it would have knocked the whole monitor over. Then it would have really been screwed.
It didn't hit the drums, did it?
Oh, well, now my desktop drum kit just fell apart.
Nice.
One second, I gotta show you this too.
Don't make me start talking about drums, man. I'm just warning you.
One second here. Where did my pieces go? Okay, I'm missing some pieces here. My whole thing like just fell over and broke, and I gotta figure. Well, it didn't break. I don't know how to. I got this desktop drum kit. Here's the stand. There's that.
Stand for what?
For the desktop drums.
The whole thing?
Yeah, that's the whole. There's one of the drums.
Oh wow, is that a little tom or a snare?
I have no clue what it is. It's
just
a
okay.
Piece of plastic with a piece of plastic stuck in a piece of plastic. Here, I'll find. Where's the drumstick at here? Drumstick.
Oh, after hearing that with your finger, you may want to pick up a drumstick.
This is what the drumstick sounds like.
Oh,
looks like. Sorry.
Man, that's weird.
This is what it sounds like.
Oh, it's actually got tone. It's it's a little out of tune, but it's got tone.
Oh yeah, there's no way to tune it either. Here's what the other one sounds like.
Ooh, that hurts the ears.
And then here, where's the other two? I think the other two fell on the floor.
Oh, I wish I had a cymbal close by. I would throw my microphone over and I'd smack it with a drumstick.
There's the other drum. Where'd the cymbal go? I don't know where the cymbal's at.
That's okay. That's okay.
The cymbal's the ugliest part of it too.
Most cheap cymbals are, and I have an entire shelf full of cheap crap cymbals that I've tried to get rid of on Craigslist and eBay, and nobody wants them. They're so bad. I got them for nothing, so you know.
Yeah, this is what I don't know if you'll be able to hear it here or not. That's what the other drum sounds like.
Yeah, we heard it. Oh man. Well, yeah. you're not going to be playing any stadium shows with those guys.
No, it's mostly meant for decoration.
Oh, I'm sure.
Obviously, by the sound of it. But no, it's meant for me to go to some big arenas and hook up some mics to it and perform some big shows with some big artists.
Oh, of course.
I can travel. I can travel with Journey with that drum kit.
I'm sure.
I'm really excited for that. I got some job offers for that. So,
maybe today's Journey. Oh man. Well, let's get to the meat and potatoes because I don't want to keep my next guest waiting too much longer.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the symbol is. I'll come on tomorrow. Or no, what day is it?
I'm not on tomorrow.
I'll come on Monday. I'll see if I can come on Monday and I'll reconstruct this thing real quick and then I'll show you everything Monday.
I wait with bated breath.
I need to find that symbol. That's gonna bother me all night. So, well, I better get off here. I got 3 minutes to find the symbol, reconstruct the drum kit, and get in bed. So,
not enough time in the day, Easton. Not enough time in the day. So you don't have an opinion on any of these news stories before you go?
Never heard of a single one of them. All I know is I want the iPhone. The phone is a piece of crap. I want the iPhone 11 because this hunk of junk right here, the Galaxy J3.
Yes.
And I've had it for 2 years. It's had its fair share of experiences. It's gone down the toilet.
Nice. And it lived to tell about it?
Oh, yeah. Christian, what are you... Oh, he just knocked over my trash can. Yeah, nice. That's another thing I get to do in the next 2 minutes. Christian, what the... Oh, wait. You just found my symbol.
It's now a dog toy.
I guess it fell in the trash can. Okay. Yeah.
So you want one of the new phones. And they're probably really good phones. The article just was talking about how they made a big deal out of it. And it's, almost everything has already been done. Which kind of takes the thunder out. If you watch that video, they actually talk about how long they spent on those 3 camera because it's probably the most innovative thing it has. And again, Samsung did that.
The thing about Apple is it has GarageBand, and I like GarageBand because obviously Studio One doesn't like my computer.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking about. I'm honestly so tired of between Microsoft and Android. Which is basically how I've been running my entire life since I started getting technology. I'm using an Amazon Kindle right now. That's pretty much the only thing that's not Android or Microsoft.
Yeah.
I can't stand it anymore. I
I'm
like
with you.
Kindle, but I hate Galaxy and I hate Microsoft. I love Microsoft software, but their computers suck. This is the second one causing crap at me. My laptop is a Lenovo. Is a Lenovo with Microsoft Windows 10.
Yeah.
It's in the computer shop because it gave me blue screen to death.
Oh,
this one is a Lenovo Dinosaur and
That's not the
gave me
official.
blue screen of death.
Certainly,
It gave me the blue screen of death the other day,
Yeah.
so that's always nice.
Certainly not the official model name on that one.
I don't know.
I've got some dinosaurs myself. Most of them are HPs, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean, man. I know exactly what you
cannot
mean.
tell where do I even look to find the model number?
Oh, it'll probably be underneath the battery.
Oh well, never mind.
Yeah,
I'm
if
finding
it's
that.
yeah, if it's not, is it on desktop or?
Desktop.
Oh, okay. It'll be on the very back, I'm sure.
Oh, very back. Well,
Yeah. Yep.
Some stuff off the top of the tower. My guitar pick storage.
Well, while you do that,
I'm not going to worry about that. You got people in the queue. I'm not worrying about it.
All right. Well, thanks, man, and I look forward to seeing that drum kit. I kinda. Well, it'll give me a reason to talk more about drums, and you know how much I love to do that.
Hey, if you watch my YouTube, one of my latest, I don't know how far back it is. About a week ago, I uploaded a video of me banging the snot out of those things.
What, that mini drum kit?
Amazing. Oh yeah, it sounds amazing. I'm very talented. No,
I can't wait to see your paradiddle-diddles on there. That's a real thing, folks, by the way.
Aids out before you do it.
Oh man, hearing aids. Like I wear hearing aids. No, wait a minute. These are kind of hearing aids, but they're not the kind of hearing aids you would think an old guy would wear. Let's be easy on this old man.
I wasn't sure what they were.
Oh well, I gotta wear headphones, otherwise I wouldn't be able to hear you guys. I could, but there would be feedback. It's like, nope, gotta have these things. So no, but I don't need them to hear on a normal basis.
Okay.
Yeah, as bad as I've been to my ears over the years, I do not need them. So.
Wow.
Oh, I have too. Loud music. It's been a staple of my diet forever, and I'm lucky to have my hearing today. I fear that one of these days it will go away on me because of all the abuse that I've given it. Hell, I raced motorcycles for 10 years.
That's always good on them.
Yeah, exactly. So, and working out in the shop, I like, damn it, I should be wearing my hearing protection. I just don't.
That one I can relate to.
Yeah, it's not smart. And
loud
you need
instruments.
Yeah, and you need to right now is when you need to be doing it and getting in the habit of it. Because I
wear hearing protection. I'm like the only one in my shop class that wears hearing protection, because whenever you have the air ventilation system running, miter saws, table saws, camera the wrong direction, joiners, all that crap, it gets loud.
Well, see, back in my day, the reason we didn't is because you'd have to strap two 2x4s to the side of your head just for hearing protection. Nobody liked to do that. Out of the Stone Age, into the Wood Age. That was just a joke. Well, Easton, thanks for coming on again, man. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, go check out that video, folks, if you really want to hear some killer chops on the tiny drums.
I'm telling you, I'm going to go on tour with Journey. I am just that good.
Oh, I know. I'm still waiting for a call myself.
Somebody told me in the chat, and they're just like, "You're so talented." It's like, no, I'm not. I even said in the video, this is supposed to be oh crap! I just broke the spring on that drum.
Oh, on that note, we better go.
That's my cue to go.
Well, when the trouble begins, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
All right, Easton. Thanks for coming on,
have
man.
a great evening, Jim.
You too. Oh man, one of these days we're gonna hear his drum kit. And I know most of you have been after me to actually play live on the air, and I just haven't gotten around to that. Before I go any further, I want to say hello to more people that we've got that have come to the show here. We've got Art Conklin. Art, how are you? Good evening. Thanks for being here. What am I missing here? Said, not a great gamer. How you doing, bud? Good to see you as well. Mr. Lodak, welcome back to the show, my friend. Will you excuse me just for a moment? All right. So, let's not dilly-dally. Let's bring up our next guest, shall we? And we'll wait for him to put the video on mute and hit his mic up, and we'll bring him up. Can you hear me yet? Test. How you doing, man? Okay, we can hear you.
Test.
But you cannot hear us. Make sure your speakers are set correctly in Zoom down the lower left, Scott. It's the little up arrow next to the microphone. It'll want you to choose a speaker, and I don't know what you're using for speakers. Looks like you've got. Oh, we lost your mic now. So make sure you go back to your mic in that same settings, and we should be A-okay. And while he's doing that, American Gold Prospectors, welcome back to the show, man. Good to see you.
Speakers are on. I can hear the YouTube, but I can't hear you on the live.
Oh, you can't hear me on the Zoom feed, right? Okay. I'm going to get him on a long delay here because it's going to be about a 20-second delay. That's what it has been in the past. So what you're seeing right now, I've already done 20 seconds ago. Mind blowing, I know. So yeah, it's how are we doing, Scott? Now I can't hear you again. You've muted yourself. Oh, let's see. How are we doing on the other platforms? Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, just keep choosing. We lost your mic, Scott, when you hear this in 20 seconds or so. So click on the up arrow next to the mic in the lower left hand corner of the Zoom interface. And the very top one is your microphone list. We lost that one. The ones below that are your speakers list, and that's probably going to be your like your speakers out of your PC. Which
test one.
We can hear you.
Mike is back.
Yes, we can hear you. Now choose whatever speaker system for your headphones, and you should be A-okay. So
let's try it.
Nope, lost the microphone again. Lost the microphone. Sorry to hear that, Easton. I drum kit completely broken. That's a shame. That's going to be a hard one to get heads for too. I don't know that they make, I don't know what, 4 and 5 inch heads for those things. Of course, you said you can't tune them, so you may not even be able to change heads in them.
Test 1. Back to ATR microphone.
We can hear you, Scott. Yep, we can hear you. Keep on that microphone. Just in the lower left of Zoom, try to choose speakers that your headphones are attached to, and we should be A-okay. So how is everyone this evening, by the way? Tell me in the chat if things are going well for you, or if things are not going well for you. Hello, Scott. Can you hear me?
So in regards to the audio, should I be hearing the audio from YouTube, or should I be expecting to hear the audio from Zoom?
From Zoom. That way it'll be real time. If you only hear the audio from the YouTube video, there will be a hideous delay. That's one thing about the delay. It can be okay. He's here. Heard me? Good.
Okay.
Awesome.
Right.
All right. So sure. So I'm talking to him real time. So again, I will, not a great gamer. I will. Absolutely. So again, how are you guys going, or how are you guys doing this evening? And what do you think about this this subject matter? If I do this maybe once a week, if I just bring up a couple random but relatively current news articles, I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking about that as a subject matter. Because like I said, there's only so many times I can ask about your bucket list, about your favorite movie, about songs that moved you, Tuesday plug. And I just wanted to shake it up a bit. Just wanted to shake it up a bit. You know, while I'm doing this, I should actually pull in my other thumbnails just because I can. we're just waiting for my next guest to work out the bugs in his audio, and we will be back to good. All right, cool. Now, Sunday night show. I'll just go over these shows while we're waiting for Scott. Make sure you join us Sunday night where we go over. We have an open panel show. That means that anyone who is a good person is welcome to come on the panel. It lets people get their feet wet, shake the green off, and get used to the idea of actually being live and on camera.
I think I got it.
You got it, Scott? You can hear me?
I got you.
Oh, sweet.
Sorry about that, man.
No, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. You're not the first.
You know, just to give any explanation, I'm using something called Voice Meter. Are you familiar with something called Voice Meter?
No, I'm not.
It's a USB mixer.
Oh.
A software-based USB mixer. Now, what this thing can do is it can take the feed from your OSB. So if you have an OSB program residing on your PC, you can, if you have the virtual cam plugin, it will allow you to export the camera and audio over one track. So that means that you can technically, I tried to do it just now, switch between, boot up OBS and switch between cameras and have audio and sound effects and everything. But I fortunately figured out blah, 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 blah. It didn't work, but here we are.
Well, it's funny because I use what's called virtual audio cables, which is an extension of the same thing. My mixer is external, but it's a digital mixer, and actually it's tied USB to the computer, so it's kind of the same thing, only there's a box that it sits in.
I got to tell you, if I'm like you. I had wires back when I was a kid. I had ins and outs. You could visually know what to do with the wires. But now that you don't, now that everything is virtual, it's a whole different game, man.
Oh yeah.
It's way more complex.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The routing is all mouse clicks too at this point.
Brutal. It's brutal.
Well, Scott, it's damn good to have you on the show, man. It's been a long time coming, I'd say.
Yes, I agree. I really do agree, Jim. And I just, I popped over. I just produced yesterday. Spent like 6 hours of production time yesterday. Got it all done, and I'm just like, I got to go over and see Jim. Pay some respects to my homie Jim. You know what I mean? It's been so long. You've got such a terrific show. Your cadence is so smooth and easy to listen to. You're very professional. You got it tweaked, man. Background is perfect. You have the same brand. You got it going on, and I just had to come in and pay homage to my homie.
Well, thanks, man. High praise indeed. High praise indeed, because I dig what you're doing. I mean, I've always loved, me. I'm a light guy too, and I've always loved that you've got something going on. That's not green screen, is it?
No.
That's your house, right?
That's my house. I got some $30 floodlights from China. Our friends from China.
Our friends from China. I'm not saying we're not. Yeah, I'm not saying in my opening story that we're not all slaves to Chinesium. We are. But that's because you like that.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, feel free to use it. I didn't coin it. I wish I could take credit for that, but
Chinesium sounds like a trampoline place down the street,
or really bad metal. Which I don't know. Just saying. But yeah, it's one thing to be a slave to buying their products because the manufacturing has virtually left our shores, and I wouldn't say that's entirely true, but to the extent that we have become somewhat dependent on their wares. But yeah, once you start curbing free speech based on that, there's something wrong there.
Yeah, they're crossing the line, and in my heart of hearts, I just think that if this continues on the current trajectory, it's going to be another North Korea.
Yeah,
if it isn't already.
Exactly.
I've seen some pretty disturbing pictures of what they do when they get these guys. They put them in purple uniforms and they put blindfolds over their heads, and it's ugly.
Oh, very ugly. Yep. And my wife's been over there a couple times. And she usually flies into Hong Kong, but the factories that she visits are in China.
Mm-hmm.
And she said you wouldn't believe the difference between the urban areas um, of Hong Kong as it relates to China, because China is just she said it's just filthy. It's just absolutely
Really? No
filthy.
kidding.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't show that to tourists, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, she said, oh, just slime running off walls and just
Uh,
soot and all kinds of nasty stuff. And that's what happens, when you don't care too much about. Well, you don't have to care about your surroundings. It's taken care of
right.
for you, so to speak. So yeah. So
I've
you
never had the luxury of going down out there. I don't know that I will. I just don't feel like I want to be in a place like that. Just no thanks.
yeah.
I'll stay in middle USA.
I agree. I agree totally. I mean, I would like to just to say I had the experience, but beyond that, yeah, no real desire. Most of the places I want to go to are nice places.
Speaking about ears and damaging your ears, I am a fireworks enthusiast. I am a pyrotechnic.
At least you didn't say maniac.
If I were to go there, I would definitely go to the factories because I don't know if you've seen some of the manufacturing videos there. It's just like dudes like making rocket sticks, and there's a guy over in the back shed. Let's go over and check out the guy at the back shed, and he's like standing in this room. It's like a cinder block room, right? And he's got about 20 pounds of flash, like one spark, and it's like a small thermonuclear explosion. And he's just like it's like, where's the cigarette, Joe? Just like throwing the stuff around. It's very static sensitive. The powder is incredibly dangerous. Like one spark and it's game over. It's got aluminum in it. And it's just like, I think it's more powerful than some other stuff. I don't want to say not too many keywords. Let's just keep it on the down low. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's one thing you don't have to worry about on my show, Scott. I don't know how much you've been watching of late, but I've not hidden my criticism of YouTube, and I will not alter my language, especially based on that list, just to appease them. I absolutely refuse.
That's what I'm talking about. There's a red-blooded American right there.
Exactly.
A rebel at heart. Liberal.
Yeah. There's no there's no money at stake here. I've even said that I will not monetize until they solidify the rules, make it clear for everyone, and stop tweaking the search and the recommended results to appease them and not the viewer. I simply won't do it.
This country would be a lot better off if we all held that kind of disposition about things.
I agree.
We wouldn't be getting the wool pulled over our eyes so much, and things would get done, and there'd be a lot more honesty in this country, and people need to start waking up and start taking account of things and stop putting up with this nonsense.
That's true.
Now, I don't want to, guys, I love everybody here. Everybody has their own positions and their own take on the way things are. Some people think there's nothing wrong. But from my perspective, I see a lot of funky stuff going on in this country. Let me give you a prime example. Do you guys know that California has no electricity right now?
Oh, really? Are they down? I thought I heard that.
They're down. They're going to be down for 5 days.
Oh, man.
Where's the news on that? I got a friend, High Velocity Savage. He's in California. He grew up in a little town called Oakland. It's a tough town.
Yeah.
It's like Compton.
Yes.
And they have no power. And he told me the cops don't even want to come out.
Can you blame them?
No.
Oh, man.
So where's the news on that? So it just gives you an example. If in regards to the dissemination of information in this country, we are not getting the truth. And the only venue in this world that we're in right now is the internet. And they are trying to put it into it. So
yeah.
Either we wake up and stand our ground, or this venue as we know it is going to go gone.
That's true.
Mark my words. And, Jim and I are kind of the same age. I'm 53. Jim, I don't know how old you are, but we grew
56.
Okay. Jim and I grew up back in the day when there wasn't this whole, nobody was awake. No one was aware of the situation, because as far as we were concerned, there was no situation back then. And so we have slowly grown into this world, and we see it. We see it. A lot of these people, these younger kids, they don't see it. But the issue is there, dude.
Oh, I know.
Mark my words. You have to start waking up. So, and I'm not gonna. Sorry, man.
No. That's great. Because I'm going to agree wholeheartedly. I mean,
Yeah, I know you are, brother.
I'm that guy who believes, and this is a saying that goes way back, and I can't remember who said it, but a man who doesn't stand for anything will fall for anything.
That's correct.
Right? Or a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. That's what it is. And you're right, man. We've been, well, we're partially responsible. I don't know how the boomers, ended up so seriously afraid for our kids to to keep them from actually experiencing things and what I would consider growing up, right?
Yes.
But we did. Now, I didn't, of course, but I know some of our contemporaries did. I mean, we're the ones that came up with that stupid ass everyone gets a trophy, which is one of the worst ideas on the face of the earth, because it teaches nothing about competition. It teaches nothing about excelling. And I'm going to get in my rant now. I apologize.
That's all right.
But I as a generation, we take partial responsibility for that. I know. But what I want to finish that with some good news, Scott.
Yes.
There are more conservatives in the next generation after the millennials than there have been in several generations before that.
There is an awakening.
Yes.
People are waking up, and the numbers are growing every day.
Yep.
So the big question is why? The big question is how? But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter, because people are waking up.
Yeah.
And so what's going to happen next, I'm not sure, but I hope that things start going in the right direction.
I do too.
Not going to go down the, should I say, the evil is not going to go away without a fight.
That is true. That is true. And
so,
we're right in the middle of that fight as we speak. As far as I'm concerned.
Long-term storage food.
Buy your long-term storage food. Don't put all your eggs into YouTube either.
No.
I haven't. In fact, one of the things I've said in that I won't monetize. I keep telling people, don't worry about monetization. It's pennies until you get much larger, because those people who are rushing for the 1K, 4K are just dying to start running ads. And it's like, great, you'll get $100 a year. What you need to do is diversify merch, memberships. Like the I hate to say Patreon, but Patreon, which Subscribe Star is where I like to hang my hat. Services that you can provide, channel. Well, I already said channel memberships. There was another one. Oh, affiliate relationships, that sort of thing. That's where the money is going to be.
Yes.
Yeah, and diversify as well. That's a side tangent there, Scott.
That's the it is. And we'll go there in a minute.
Awesome.
The hurdle is getting the product. That is the hurdle. Like, how do I get the website? What am I going to sell? And then paying for or some kind of Google listing through AdWords or whatever. That's not difficult. The problem is the product. So I've kind of like, I'm grinding gears in that respect.
Well, to get off the ground, there's two wonderful alternatives. Teespring type of outlets are perfect, because it's total drop ship. You do the design, they handle the orders, they handle the shipping and all that, and even returns. So you don't have to worry about that. But you could also become a what is that program that Amazon has? I can't remember, but they have the same sort of thing where you can sell your own merch on Amazon.
Right.
And then you don't really have to worry about that. Everything else is a click away. Like if you want to offer channel memberships on a Patreon or Subscribe Star, that's easy. You just sign up and you fill out the stuff and you go, and then you get paid when people actually support your channel. So, or your video creation efforts. So a lot of this stuff is real easy to just put together. And then affiliate relationships, that can be as easy as contacting people like around your niche. I don't have that luxury for affiliates, because what am I going to find for talk shows?
I don't know.
Hey, I know I don't do anything with cameras, but What if I put a camera link on in my description so when people bought that yeah, I know. Good point. Good point. I need to call CAD tomorrow.
I'm sort of in the same boat. I mean, I'm just I'm going over techniques and some software and everything, but I'm gonna build a homemade confetti dispenser that we're gonna turn on when I get a super chat. And my plan is that it's composed of all these parts from Amazon. I'm gonna start a store and maybe I can get an affiliate thing doing it that way. So
There you go.
yeah,
That is the way to do it. Like
I think so. I don't know.
mhm. Yeah, and the problem I have with super chats is, man, that YouTube takes so much of that.
You know,
It just
it's pretty brutal. Let's
yeah.
face it.
I would,
There are some channels. I swear to God, they've got some like over 1,000 people in chat,
oh yeah,
and the people making 15, 16, $100
yeah,
a night.
yeah, yeah. I know.
Incredible.
That is incredible, and that's tough. That's tough for me to swallow. But I would rather somebody tip me through PayPal, which is much less
Yeah.
expensive for both parties. And I'd rather them become a channel subscriber or a membership subscriber, like on my Subscribe Star
Yes.
page.
Yes. Yes.
Shameless plug. Uh, because it really helps out. I mean, none of this is cheap. None of the equipment's cheap. The time is not inexpensive. My sure, yes. Grumpy is asking me about my monitors, my in-ears. Um, and the time especially is of value because I normally charge anywhere from $75 to $125 an hour for what I do.
No kidding.
Yeah, and doing this takes away from a lot because it's not just this hour I spend at
No.
night. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of editing, there's all kinds of graphics to be done. There's research for this kind of show, which I kind of shot myself in the foot, but that is what it is. It's a love for the craft, though. I really enjoy doing this.
I can certainly tell. I mean, you just have it so clean, man. I don't think I've seen any interview show like yours in regards to the quality that you do. It's just fantastic.
Well, thanks, man. Tell everybody.
There isn't anything. There's nothing in comparison except for the Nimmons and the big guys.
Yeah.
You're definitely
thanks.
next level, bro.
Oh, thanks, man. I so appreciate that. And I think your show is awesome too. You're quite the graphic artist. I take
Yes,
it just
yeah.
by looking at your thumbnails and your broadcast interface and whatnot. That it looks great, man. I dig what
Thank
you're
you.
doing as well. I try to head over there as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm here, man. It's good to talk with you. It really is. I got to tell you.
Well, it's good to talk to you, man. I am glad you finally came on, and of course, you're always welcome on this show.
Thank
you know that.
Thank you, sir.
In fact, I need to make you a moderator on the YouTube chat. What happens? I don't know if most people know, but those folks in the YouTube chat that are actually holding a blue wrench are people who've come on the show, and they've. I would say 98%. There was a couple I did early before I had guests, and they just had been good people to me for a long time. But everybody else has been on the show, and when you're a good person, you come on the show. I know you got my back whenever you're in my
Yes, sir. I got your back.
in my chat.
Hey, big shout out to Magic Jones. Good to see you, buddy. There's another talented content creator. Holy cow, that man has got it going on. Viewed This, I believe, is still here. Love
Yes, he
Viewed
is.
This. Go ahead.
Oh, he said no. Yes, he is. I shouldn't talk over you because we've got one of those connections where when I talk, yours cuts out. So go ahead, man.
And Drone. Where is Drone? Let's see if I can.
Drone
see
Kings
him.
in Darwin.
Yes, is he here?
He's in there.
Okay, Darwin. He was on my live stream, and I do this crazy thing. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's like this trivia thing. I ask a question. If you get it right, you go to the contest, and I call it nothing plus nothing equals nothing, or something like that. You don't win anything. You just win it, and it's a fully produced thing, and it's funny.
Oh, I have not seen that yet.
Yeah, you got to check them out, bro. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, because when I do them, it feels like Saturday Night Live. It's completely produced.
Oh,
Total effects, but it's live.
Yeah, I'm totally subscribed to you. I see you come up in my notifications all the time.
I'll tell you what, if you want an example of what it's like, I just put out a video where now guys, this is just released today. This is brand new information. I got permission at Google in Georgia at one of the server farms. They gave me full access to the server. I was able to hook my computer up to the server and talk directly to the algorithm.
Wow, if that doesn't whet the appetite, I don't know what will.
And it is not a friendly computer program, let me tell you. Anyway, that if you watch that video, you'll get a little example of what the live stream's like.
Yeah, well, I know what the live stream's like, but I'm gonna have to go look at that. That sounds fun. That sounds
It's
fun.
blowing up, man. People are loving it. I guess it's getting attention or something. But you know what you ever look at your train smoke in regards to your statistics? You know, you get your average
Oh yeah.
over time, and then you have a little blue line that represents the video that's in comparison to that. It looks like train smoke.
Mm-hmm.
The line, boom, it's way above the train smoke.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, I keyed that term. That's my term. The train. I'm gonna make a T-shirt that says "the train beat the train smoke."
Beat the train smoke. All right. Well, Scott, we're at the top of the hour, and
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do my little thing that I've recently brought back in just days. It's called the deep dive. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I am not.
You're not familiar with it. Well, are you willing to go? It's just a way to get to know more about you.
Absolutely, sir.
You good? All right, let's do this.
Oh boy. I love it.
All right, Scott. Here's how the deep dive works. I have in my grubby little hands 5 questions. Count them 5.
Okay.
Chosen just for you. Now, these were actually written by a group of monkeys in the room behind me. so we never know exactly how well they know you, but we get to get know you. The idea here is we get to know you better than your Chinese light suppliers. Now remember, there are no wrong answers, only bad judges and monkeys. So, all right, are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, cool. First question.
Question 1.
That is great.
They still make me laugh. All right, Scott. We start off kind of easy, and maybe they get a little bit more difficult. What do you prefer, hamburgers or tacos?
Oh, hamburgers, man. Totally hamburgers.
Oh, totally there. See, I told you.
Totally hamburgers.
Hamburgers are the shit. I like tacos. Don't get me wrong.
I do. If I look at the menu and nothing really turns me on, hamburger.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to question 2.
That was easy, man.
Question 2.
I told you these are not difficult. We just want to know the real Scott. This is the whole idea behind this.
What color is your underwear? Well, you think?
Oh man, if I weren't in the middle of
okay.
How long is the battleship? True or false? No, that wasn't the next question. What do you prefer? A handwritten letter or an email?
I would say an email. I would prefer an email because everything that comes in the mail is just junk anyway.
It is. Well done. I will tell you though. This is a side subject. I actually got a handwritten letter from the people I went to get my my recent MRI on.
Oh, really?
They literally put together a card and they wrote on the entire backside of that card how wonderful it is to have my business. Never seen that from a medical institution.
Awfully respectable. I mean, gee whiz. I mean, in that respect, I would say a written letter is better. I never get them. It's like a distant memory. I mean, I just never get them. It's not part of my mental vernacular.
Me neither. Well, it used to be, of course.
I guess in that respect, I would say letter.
Oh, you can't go back on your answer, Scott. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Did I not tell you that?
I guess I lost the game right there.
No. We still have 3 more questions. Okay. Are you ready?
Question 3.
Sounds like we go away, and yet our mics are still open for that whole thing. All right, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Beer or wine?
Oh, hell, beer. Come on now.
Oh, no.
What?
We were looking for Fresca. I'm sorry. So close. No, actually, I agree with you. Definitely beer. I do not drink wine at all.
Makes my nose clog up when I drink wine.
Oh, does it really? I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wine, it makes me stuffy.
My wife drinks it all the time, and I just say, nope, go get me a beer. My son's out of the house, so I don't have him to go get it for me anymore.
Grape juice for adults.
Grape juice for adults. All right, question 4.
Question 4.
Oh, doesn't get any better than this, does it? All right. Well, you seem like a man about town. What would you prefer if you had the choice? A motorbike or a bicycle?
Oh man, you kidding me? Motorbike, brother.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
Probably
yeah.
a motocross motorbike.
Oh, you're not saying that because you heard I raced motocross for 10 years, did you?
No.
Okay, good.
You gotta have a motorcycle. My God, man, that's an American tool right there.
Exactly. When in doubt, choose the motor.
Yes. Bicycle.
Bicycle. It's funny you say that.
It has a rocket tied to it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
All right. And of course, final question.
Really tough.
Final question.
Don't talk over the bump. we want to give them the illusion that we're off mic. That's not true.
I'm destroying the integrity of the show. I apologize.
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay.
You're too kind, Jim.
Okay, so you look pretty handy too, right? Am I right?
I would say I'm pretty good with my hands, Jim.
All right. Well, would you say that you enjoy working more with steel or wood?
Oh, steel, brother.
Oh no, I'm sorry. The correct answer was chinesium. Chinesium.
The lightest aluminum known to man. It's transparent. Star Trek invented it.
I know.
Magnesium.
Hey,
With a whale
I don't write these answers. Wait.
Who's hitting that buzzer anyway?
Oh, I don't know.
Is that the family doing that?
Well, we have judges. I have an entire panel of judges sitting right over there.
You know what you can make with steel, people? A lot more powerful stuff than wood. Wood breaks.
Everything,
burns.
yeah, everything they make with Chinesium, I suppose. Oh man,
Make cannons with steel, people. Cannon. You can't make a cannon out of wood.
Scott, you did quite well, man. I want to say you got 3.5 out of 5 because that other one, yeah, the other one's kind of dodgy. I kind of messed with you on one. But well done.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Well, it was a lot of fun, man. What's that?
Cue the applause.
I tried to, and since I lost all my settings last week, I've forgotten to retie my my applause up. So, oh wait. Oh, really? Okay, no, I don't have it. So, run the applause, Scott. Can you hit it?
I don't have it.
You don't have
I tried to get it going.
That's okay. We're gonna go applause. You did fantastic, man. And
Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate you going through that.
That was fun. More of those. They're fun. I should do that on my show, man. It's a great idea.
I know it's going to get picked up. Get picked up. I've already watched some of my format get picked up, which I totally expected. I'm fine with that. I'm just going to be me and continue to march forward.
Yep. It's a never-ending. It's like, you get started in this venue and you're like, oh wow, I'm psyched. I'm going to make a whole bunch of videos. You make about 40 or 50 of them. And you're like, you know what? This is a lot of work. I guess I'll keep going, and you just keep going, and you're like, I'm not getting anywhere. I really want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of hit this wall, and you're like, I kind of miss it. I'm not going to really get anywhere. I'll just kind of wing it, and then you get a video, and it starts to blow up, and it's just like, I'm ready to jam. Let's do this. One video a day, man. We're rocking. That's how it works here. It's like a mental roller coaster.
Oh,
One day you crap.
Yeah, it so is.
You know what I mean? And
Oh,
the next day you're on cloud 9. I don't know.
Well, that's like most things actually, but I think it's amplified here for sure. Yeah. I don't have any of those. I mean, I've got 3 other channels, maybe 4, with just some random stuff on them, and I've got everywhere from 0 views to I think 25,000 on one of them.
No,
Two on 2 of them actually. Yeah, but I didn't capitalize on them. I didn't make moves on it. But they literally had, well, I would say interest to a lot of different people within a specific um, subset of people, right? So they're very interest oriented, and people dug them. But this one I knew was going to be a struggle. I absolutely knew it was, because it's almost impossible to optimize for. It is what it is.
And it's almost like a variety entertainment kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's very, very difficult to get a footing when you're starting out with very, and no offense, a small to little of a brand.
Mhm.
You know the power of brand. I know that you're aware of it and how it works and how it develops, and when the ball starts to spin, get bigger and bigger, it just goes high water. If you keep fighting, if you never give up and you keep doing this, I guarantee you, Jim, this show is going to be huge. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, thanks, man. I don't have any plans on giving up. That's not my character.
Good.
If
I know that.
yeah, if I have to stop at all, it will be based on an outside necessity, not because it didn't take off like I wanted it to. Because believe me, I've been on that roller coaster mentally for a while during this whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. So
I mean, I'm sure are you over 10,000 watch minutes? You got to be close.
Oh, 10,000? I don't know. I'm around 350,000
Okay.
watch minutes. So I'm well over the 4K.
Over.
Yeah, I'm
You're
well.
fine.
Yeah, on that. No problem. I'm getting close to it.
You got 889 subscribers, dude. You'll be monetized in no time.
Yeah, but me, that doesn't matter. All I want is that community tab. I literally am not going to monetize.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I'll monetize because I've already applied for it, but I am not running ads. I am not giving YouTube money they don't deserve until they can prove to me that they've got steadfast rules for us, and no ambiguity around how they might apply the terms that they have laid out now. Until they do that, man, I'm not going to give them any money.
They'll never do it. They'll never settle into a situation where they can't change.
Yeah. Well, I don't care if they change. What I hate is their propensity to subjectively apply the vague terms that they've laid out, and that doesn't help anybody. That leaves us all in a lurch, and especially those people who have literally put their livelihood in YouTube's hands. Right? That's the only way they make their money. And I think that was a bad move based on the fluidity of this platform, and their inability to lock down rules and stick with them. So, yeah, I'm not going to find myself in that position, and I'm taking another stand, which I know is against my own best interest. But like you said, man, I'm not going to fall for anything.
Yeah.
More power. What's that?
I'm glad. I'm proud of you for sticking to your fight. You know what I mean? It's not easy to do. It's a sacrifice, and I wish more Americans were like that. Honest to God.
Well, I hope I'm hoping that the kindness of my my viewers will carry me through and at least help support the show. Not support me for a living just yet, but if they're kind enough to help me keep things going, then that's enough for me. And I've told them several times, the very least you can do is like it, and the other one would be to share it, because that really helps to get in front of more people. But if they feel like they can give some of their income toward the show, and I'm more than happy to try to keep it as fun for them as I possibly can.
I'll have you know, I've been monetized for almost a year now. It is very rewarding. It does change the flavor of your efforts in regards to your production. You become very attuned to watches, how many people are looking, what your CPM numbers are. It does change you. You become very, very knowledgeable about statistics, because it's, you're like, wow, did that one go? How'd that one do? And you're just looking. Sometimes a video will be flat and it starts to go up, and you're like, oh, money. It just what it does to you. So.
Oh yeah. And
cool.
And I don't have any ill will toward anyone who wants to monetize. I mean, and it's not even I can't even, and it's one of those things where I, what am I looking for here, Scott? What am I trying to say? I don't have any, I don't have any problem.
You're trying to say that you're different than me in regards to your goals. You're sticking to a foundational perspective in
Format that I put my foot down, and that's fine. For people that don't, and they're okay with everything the way it is, go for it, man. Go for it. I always say do what's in your best interest, and that goes for you and everyone watching. But I have a different outlook on it, and that's I don't know.
My perspective, my perspective is that I think it's a good thing to be monetized. I don't think that you should expect to make a lot of money. The niche that you receive, or I should say the CPM, the cost per mil, the fee that is charged to a corporation to put ads on your channel, that amount that is charged changes depending on all kinds of parameters. One of those parameters is the niche that you're in. If you're talking about playing with spaghetti versus some dude that's talking about Bitcoin, the dude talking about Bitcoin is going to make 100 CPM and you're going to make 3.
Yeah.
So there's like a million parameters, like people watching your channel, how much description text are you using, tags, all that kind of stuff. It all is added in and calculated into that CPM. My CPM's dropped, and it's like getting stabbed.
Huh.
It sucks.
That does suck.
My production's dropped off a little bit. You have to feed the monster. You have to keep on producing.
Yes, absolutely.
You stop. The money, everything, all the statistics fall.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. It's a tough horse to ride, honestly.
Yeah.
But I wish you the best luck in riding it, Scott.
Thank you, buddy. You too. Enjoy the roller coaster, as they say.
Exactly.
A long ride.
Exactly. Who knows? I'm still optimistic that something will happen where it'll make it the rules a little more clear, and then there's I wouldn't have any problem with that, but we'll just have to see.
Would you like to hear a rumor?
Yes, quickly, because I think our stream went down for a moment.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, that's what they were telling me in the chat. Nothing has changed over here. My stream looks good.
We'll avoid the stupid rumor. It's about Article 13 and all that crap.
Oh,
Drone Kings. Did you come onto my stream? I asked a trivia question about what hockey pucks were made out of, and you told me it was the steak that your wife made you. Was that you? Was that you? If it was, I apologize for not mentioning that in my stream. I looked at the video. I'm going 1,000 miles per hour. I'm hitting a million buttons. Jim knows what I'm talking about. You're talking, you're looking, you're switching cameras. The cat's down behind you. You got the kids asking you where the homework is, and I missed the comment, and I didn't comment.
That sounds like Brad.
Okay, it'll be 20 seconds before he responds. But anyway, I think that was him. And if it was, I apologize, sir. And if you say something funny like that on my live stream again, I will put you up on the stream, brother.
He's good for it. Trust me, he is good for it. Brad's been a friend of the show for a long time. He's been on like 3 or 4 times, which is wonderful. And he and I have developed a conversation offline as well. He's a great guy.
Awesome.
Well, Scott, we've run 19 minutes over the allotted time. So, dude, thanks so much for coming on. I want you back, dude.
Yes, sir. I'll be back. I'm looking at you right now. I enjoyed it, sir. Thank you very much.
No
I feel like what's it, the Partridge Family?
Oh,
that show.
Or maybe the Brady Bunch.
The Brady Bunch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jim, I will see you later.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for coming on. Scott, have a good evening, man.
All right, take care.
Oh man, good to have Scott on. Guys that are in the waiting room, I apologize, but as you know, it's only supposed to be an hour, and I took a long time with Scott because this is his first time. I've known Scott for quite a while, having traded chats with him and been on his stream, and he's been in here a couple times. I wanted to talk to Scott for a little bit longer. I apologize to both Ghana and to Not a Great Gamer, but you guys come back on, and even if you want to talk about these stories, by all means, talk about these stories. Now, before I go, I want to tell you about, of course, once again, we will be doing the Sunday Smash, and that will be Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as they always are. And that is a panel show where all good people are invited to. We'll have the same sort of thing where the Zoom meeting is right at the bottom, and you can pop on, and I'll see you in my green room. And if it makes sense, it's always going to make sense. I'm going to bring you on, and we're going to have a good time. I'll pop you off if you try to do something stupid, though. We all know that. That's happened in the past, and we're all good with that. But I also wanted to say hello to a few people that popped into the YouTube chat before we go, and that would be Andrew Frying Pan. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for being here. My son's there, Champ Works Garage. How you doing, bud? Good to see you as well. If I missed anyone else, I'm unbelievably... Oh, Lloyd, Grumpy Vlogger. Well, welcome, brother. Good to see you, my friend. I don't think I missed anybody else, but if I did... know that I appreciate you being here. Thanks to both my guests tonight. This was a fun show. Again, let me know in the comments, both on all of these platforms that I'm on. Let me know in the comments whether or not you like this touching on the news sort of series, because I think I want to bring that on as a regular. I did not forget you. But I want to know if this is a good series that you think is worthwhile to bring on maybe once a week, maybe once a month. I don't know. Let's talk about it. But for now, I'm going to call it a night. And I want to thank again all of you for my guests. And I'd like to thank all of you who have been kind enough to watch this show. Even if you're watching it after it's been processed, if you would at this moment, click that like button. Don't forget to do that. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet. If you're on one of the other platforms, make sure you follow us. And please, folks, make sure you share those content creators that you really enjoy. That is by far one of the greatest things you can do to support a channel. I appreciate you. Remember to always treat others the way you would like to be treated. If we all did that, this world would be a great place. Thanks, folks. We'll see you live.